To label the Abrahamic God as just is a total mischaracterization and quite possibly the worst adjective to describe God. The concept that God will deliver justice, He will punish those who are wicked, and give sinners their just deserts conveys a complete lack of understanding of biblical thought on this deity. The first notion to keep in mind is that there are two forms of justice, retributive and distributive. Retributive justice is the concept of tit for tat, that there is crime and punishment. This is how American, or in a broadened sense, humanity's justice works. If there is a misdeed done, it is punished. If something positive happens, it is rewarded. This is humanity's concept of how justice works. However, the human's concept of justice isn't how Yahweh works. This is where distributive justice works. This is the concept of giving equal justice for all, like the concept of, though it is not practice, distributing wealth to help the needy, something that the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were punished for not doing, as is mentioned in the book of Ezekiel. Sadly, if one is to read over the Bible, it is filled with distributive justice. Starting in Genesis, Adam and Eve eat the forbidden fruit. God's punishment covers all of their offspring. Being that the concept of Adam and Eve are that they are the origin of our species, and my apologies to Darwin, that covers all of humanity. So from the moment of conception, we are already sinners due to the act of someone who made an error a few millennia before us. When the prophets came around, their city is overthrown, their people divided and exiled into a foreign place. Why? Because of pagan idolatry. Because there were people in the city who worshipped false gods instead of the one true Abrahamic God. The entire city was punished. And again, with Sodom and Gomorrah. Even when Abraham pleads with God to spare the cities if he can find a few select individuals who are not corrupt, God punishes both cities, all-inclusive. The New Testament is not omitted from this either. When Jesus dies, he dies for the sins of mankind. It is to abolish the sins of Adam and Eve, as Paul asserts in Romans chapter 5, and to show God's love for his people. Whether his people are the Jews, children of Abraham, who deny Christ, or the Gentiles, those who become children of Abraham and are saved by their acceptance of Jesus. For while we were still weak at the right time, Christ died for the ungodly, Paul says in Romans 5:6. We are all sinners. Isaiah 1:28 states, "But the destruction of transgressors and sinners shall be together." John chapter 9 verse 31 says, "We know that God heareth not sinners." So if we are all sinners, why are people allowed into heaven, into the paradise that God promises us? All it is a simple admission to God that you are a sinner. You acknowledge your wrongdoing, confessing your sins. You admit guilt. God will allow you into his kingdom. Now, if that's not a definition of unjust, then what is?